higher education turns out wrong output. It is expensive. It's only for few insignificant number. That too for it is for educated only, not for the uneducated, and for those underprivileged, backward, scheduled tribe, neglected sections of the society are not part of so-called higher education. It's increasingly become costly. It is furthermore the boring, unsatisfactory, cruel. Wow. Anybody who had gone through the higher education can understand how torturous was the higher education, especially the mainstream academic process. I would like to ask you a straight question. Would you like to take admission again in the same college where you got higher education? Would you like to meet the same faculty who have taught you? Put a hand on a heart and say that whether that was the best. I'm not asking about, when I'm talking about higher education, how much of time you have spent in the canteens, in the gardens, in the outside the classroom. What I'm talking about, the core, the main academic processors, how far they were satisfying for you. It's unfortunate that the attendance is compulsory for grown-up students. I am one of the faculty members. I was in a visiting faculty in one of the management schools where the faculty gives the marks for attendance. What? How come that can be? A major student, he understands whether the class is important or not. He knows whether it is useful or not. Why the condition of attendance should be made mandatory for a student to be there in the classroom? It means the student is not interested in the class. There should be a rule to impose the student to be there in the class. Anyhow, the so-called rigorous academic process are boring, painstaking, not as enjoyable. Whether they are worthy, they are useful or not will come back. But the rating on a 5-point scale, whether you like it, whether you dislike it, there is a chance that most of the people will say that is one of the boring, one of the painful processes which went through. I would like to show one small example here. The best brains, most vibrant brains, most active people are made to sit in the chairs like this on their bums for hours and hours. Their bums will be here at. Their brains are somewhere else. They'll be thinking about what they want to do after the class. How come A bumps based education should be imposed. Why not a brain based education? Why not a hand based? Why not a head based? Why not a heart based education can be developed? Let us hope that if higher education has to improve, this is one area which they cannot neglect. The process has to become most interesting for the youngsters, most engaging for the students, most involving for the students. Unless otherwise, the higher education remains to be inefficient, costly, for few, and doesn't produce the right people for the economy.